I'm a trained attorney, but I have not been practicing law since 2012. Um, and that's relevant because in the days after the 2016 election, I started to think about how I could better use my own personal skill set. So on the day of the election in 2016, in November 2016, I remember distinctly taking my son to the polling place, filling in the oval next to Hillary Clinton, crying tears of joy, hugging a woman who was outside of the polling place. And my son was actually in a stroller, and then, pushing him, and he's not 13 and he's taller than me. But pushing him in the stroller and telling him, you've just elected a woman president. And I was so excited. I always do this whenever I remember those moments, right? Those moments of great hope. And then I got home, and that night, the election turned out the way that the election turned out, slowly over the evening, with notification after notification that told us that everything that we had thought was going to happen was not going to happen, or at least what I had thought at the time. I think there were many people who were more concerned, but I wasn't as politically involved at that point. At that point, I was actually, I had my own small business. I had a small photography business, actually, where I did a lot of marketing. I did a lot of commercial, small business photography. So a very flexible schedule to help with a young son. But after the 2016 election, a few weeks later, I was watching people on my Facebook feed, my social media feed, clamoring, literally clamoring for something to do. What can we do? How can we help? How can I use my voice in this moment? And so many people didn't understand the basics, really, of civics anymore. So I saw a lot of people sharing, for example, legislative bills that actually had been introduced in Congresses previously. So bills that were 2 or 3 years old, people were sharing and saying, call your congressperson about this, call your senator about this, people not understanding the difference between senators and representatives even, or knowing where to find theirs. And I was sitting there with my family over breakfast. It was November 20th, 2016. I was sitting with my family over breakfast, and I said, someone really should help people understand what they can do, what these bills are, how they can make their voices heard, the difference between a resolution and a bill, and I mean, all the things. And my husband said, well, why don't you do that? You know how to make a website, you know how to set up social media, you know how to do this communications work, and you're a lawyer. So you're sort of perfect for it. And I didn't have an answer as to why I shouldn't do that. And so I got home from that brunch, and I did. I started a website. I thought for a little while about what I should call it. And one of my favorite quotes is from a man named Peter Marshall. And he said that small deeds done are better than great deeds planned. And I've always found that to be a really powerful statement, that you can make such a difference in just doing small things consistently. And I'd actually extend that now to say millions of people doing millions of small things consistently can actually really turn the tide. And that was kind of the ethos I was trying to bring to it. So I started Small Deeds November 20th, 2016. I have continued. This was before Indivisible, before, Sister District, before all of it, right? Um, and I have continued to publish that same newsletter, a pep talk, a sort of, essay, personal essay, usually at the beginning, and then a few actions that people can take after that. And I have posted that each week on Tuesdays since November 20th, 2016, which seems it both seems like it was yesterday, and it seems like it was a lifetime ago.